All right. It says we are live. I'm just checking one more thing just to make sure. Um, let's see. Okay. All right. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
We're trying to go live on both Facebook and Instagram. If it doesn't work, I will post it to Instagram because this is going to be amazing. So I'm excited for anybody who's watching. Um, Give us 2 seconds for the technical difficulty type things that happen. Um, I love technology. I love the fact that I get to see your beautiful face. I love that I can see your beautiful face, even though I'm not physically in front of you.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing you and I to connect virtually.
Yeah, this is one of those things where something creative came out of this weird time, this weird time that we're in right now. So this is good.
We still make it happen.
Okay, so let me ask if you want to try to join, it's fine. If not, I'm going to just do it from here. And then what I'll do is I'll post it on Instagram for those who are not seeing both screens. But I am very, very excited right now. Let me go ahead and do this. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I did join.
Okay, excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Just want to make sure we're not echoing. I don't think we are.
And then tell me if you saw my request.
I did. Let's see.
Yeah.
Whew. I was sweating a little bit.
That's what trying to figure out this technology does to you.
Yep. Yeah, it's so true. It is so true. Okay. All right. So let's get in it. Hopefully that echo doesn't stay and I'll.
If it does, then I'll go out of it.
Okay. No problem.
So I'm going to I am going to go out because I can hear the echo.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Let's see. All right. So I want to get started because I don't want to waste any more time. I'm just so glad that we got a chance to do this. So I want you to introduce yourself, but I'm just going to tell the people why you were one of the people that I chose to speak at the On Fire Women's Conference. You know, as we know with these times, everything's a little weird about gathering together. And so, you know, I didn't want to just leave everybody questioning what's happening with the conference. I wanted to, you know, bring people an awareness for what was going to happen and what amazing was in store. And you and I met. You sent, you know, in your application for speaker, and I was like, wow, this woman is dynamic. Oh my God, she's dealing with a very deep subject. Let me go meet her because I don't know. I don't know if everybody's ready to handle her. But when we met, it was clear to me that you were very good at helping people change mindsets, get through traumas, work through things. And I think that's something that people are needing is help in processing things that have happened, ways that people think, things that they might need to let go or step into something new. And in meeting you and hearing your story, I was already like, all right, she can do that. Check that off the list for the conference. Checked off the list. So I wanted you to go ahead and just introduce yourself. Tell us about what you do, what your trainings, anything that you offer, and just what you provide to people.
Absolutely. So I'm Letitia B. Russell. I'm a speaker, author, mentor, coach, and I come from my platform really is, you know, a harrowing, unfortunate experience of child sexual abuse, dealing with sexual trauma as well as physical. And as you can see, I always say this rocking this bald head now, but also I've dealt with alopecia for the last 11 years. And over the course of this last year, it hasn't even been a full 12 months, I've decided to just really speak my truth and tell my story of why now. And really why now comes from why have I decided to talk through and speak out about abuse as well as the alopecia. And so it's really advocating, right? It's being that advocate. It is being able to share my story in an effort to help others. So it's not just, I don't want people to get out of this, oh my goodness, that's so sad. And, you've gone through so much. Yes, I have. But I think the takeaway is now, what do I do with if I am that individual who is also dealing with something that I've wanted to hide, or I'm not comfortable going and speaking about it for whatever that reason is. And so hopefully in hearing this and my truth, you will be empowered to also step out and say, it's just time.
Yeah. So
a lot, right?
We all have things that we think are horrible in our lives, and I don't know that we always make a conscious decision to be brave enough to do something different, right? Until we meet somebody who was brave enough to do something different. And so I think that's probably what sticks out in my mind with you guys. I mean, with you is with all the speakers, but with you especially, is there was not only just I'm telling you to be brave. I'm telling you to do something different, but there's no, I'm showing you that you can go through some of the worst possible things in life and still come out doing something different, making a choice to be brave. So, talk to me a little bit. I saw a clip of you, presenting, and I forgive me, it's escaping the name of the event is escaping me right now. But you got a chance to tell your story and how it actually related to the people and how you were able to help the people in that event. And I'm going to turn these notifications off because they're getting on my nerves. Okay. Okay. But go ahead. I want you to just kind of tell the people how, what is the, remind me what the name of the event was, because you actually had an empowerment event.
I did. And so I think you are referring to the empowerment event. So I had that one. And then most recently, I spoke for the Urban League Young Professionals. And so I think you're talking about the empowerment, but it was last year, November, actually. And it was, Empowerment 2019. And it's something that I'll do annually, but it was a mix of audience members, right? And I had a panel of presenters that really spoke also about their truth and their story. And look, I always said, not everybody's going to have my same story. That's okay. But we have all been through something. And it's just a matter of how do we speak on what that something is in an effort to help others. And so really just share my story. And, in a nutshell, a little bit is I was sexually abused at a very young age at the hands of someone that I trusted. And so it was my mom's second husband. He abused me at a very young age for several years. I didn't say anything to my mom, mainly in fear of, will she leave him? Will she believe me? What does that say about me? Am I prepared for the questions that will come out of this? And so I kept that secret for many years. But while I held on to that secret, I also held on to the fact that I was dealing with depression over the course of several years because I kept that bottled up, right? I didn't talk about it. It was out of sight, out of mind. I didn't want anybody to know. I thought that meant I was weak if I decided to talk about it or cry about it. And so I kept that. And so with that, I unfortunately dealt with depression. I unfortunately dealt with physical abuse. I became the person that abused in relationships. And so at some point I told myself I needed to break that cycle, right? I needed to be that individual that wanted something different and to be something different, not only for me, but for my family. And I have two little girls. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And at that age, it's just, you want them, you always tell them, baby, you can do anything, be anything, you're beautiful. And as I began to just continue to say that and be a parent and watch that evolve in them, I kept telling myself, I'm not being truthful, right? I I'm telling them they could do anything and be anything. And here I am holding on to this story that I have. And it took 30 years or so. But here I am. I'm still standing. I am proud of the woman that I have become. And I truly do embrace every flaw that I have, everything that's happened to me in the past, because it shaped and made me to be the woman that I am today.
We're gonna come back to the fact you said every flaw you had, because I wanted to ask about this. So I completely agree that there have been a lot of decisions I've made in my life, not because I was strong enough to be brave, but I was looking at the people in my life and I was telling a story to them that I wanted them to do better and be whole and healthy. And then I would turn around and say, am I doing that myself?
Mhm.
Or not even am I doing that myself? Am I doing that do as I say and not as I do thing, where I'm telling them to do something better for them, for their own health, but I'm not doing it for my own health. And so I think people need to know that that's okay. That even if the thing that made you step over to the decision of I'm going to be brave and I'm going to change the way I think and change the way I handle things, it's okay if it's somebody else that did it. But talk to me about the flaws. What do you consider the flaws?
You know what I might consider flaws is not what someone else to say would consider flaws. But look, again, I my platform is I'm gonna give it to you, right? I'm gonna be truthful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be transparent. Whether you like it, love it, this is me, because I can't stand here and tell you just part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, what I deem as just flaws is I'm not perfect, right? I still catch attitudes. I still look at you sideways. And I'm gonna give you an example. I was on my way to the store today. I had to go run to the to the store, and there was I'm gonna say a mom and maybe a daughter, or I'm gonna peg them as mom and daughter that were in the car next to me, and I didn't have anything on my head, and the little girl looked at me first, and you could see her, and she might have been 14 or 15, but you can see her, and then she's kind of sat back. And then when I looked over, you saw the mom, and both of them look over at me. You clearly knew they were talking about me, right? You clearly knew. And so the flaw side of me looked as well and smiled, because part of me wanted to say, is there an issue?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right? I'm bald.
You got something to say?
Are you okay? I'm okay with this. Are you okay with this? And I didn't, though. And I just looked and I smiled, and I chalked that, but I couldn't say that I would have done that last year sometime, right? But being bald, for whatever reason, as odd as it sounds, I walk with a different set of confidence. Like I'm this confident sister now, and it's just something, and I think I have to be, because I'm bald. I can't shrink down because of that. Again, this is part of my story. And so I am flawed when I still get upset when people stare versus not asking, right? I'd rather for you to say, are you okay? Are you dealing with something, right? I just want you, because I've had brave people that have come out to say, do you mind me asking, are you sick? Do you have, alopecia? I'm bald too. I want to know how you've decided to come out and, really deal with this. And those folks are the individuals that I'm like, wow, absolutely. Let's sit down and have a conversation about it, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but I still have those hangups where I get upset. I get my attitudes. If you don't ask me something in the manner in which I think you should. So those are things, when I say flaws, that God is still working on me. Mm-hmm. And I know that. And but with each and everything that happens, I know that I grow, and I have to continue to grow from it, right? It's not something, I can't continue to be stuck in one place. I've got to continue to evolve and grow.
No, I'm glad and this is kind of a little off script, but I'm okay with it, because I'm glad you said flaws, because there's, I was hoping that you weren't thinking that you weren't saying that, maybe, the fact that you had alopecia was your flaw. And I was like, she better not be saying that's her flaw. No, ma'am. So I said, and I knew you weren't, so that's why I felt comfortable asking the question. Because you're right, even though you've gone through this transformation and you have so much more love for yourself and you are standing prouder and you are owning what is in your life, you literally are saying that there's still some things that make you not perfect, like catching that attitude every once in a while. Yeah. And we're on a journey. So what else, I feel like if I got to perfection, I would be looking around every corner, like, all right, when am I going to be taken out? Cause I done reached it now. It should be a lightning bolt somewhere.
We always have something to learn and grow from. And so, no one is perfect. And it's just, it's how do you deal with certain things that come your way? And there will always be a challenge around the corner, and you've got to look for those challenges.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of challenges, and since you brought up the alopecia and you making the conscious decision to go bald, the sun. Okay. The few things that we talked about when we were talking is we actually talked about the fact that you had a period of time where you were wearing wigs, where you were, I don't want to say covering it up, but where you hadn't owned it yet. And just tell us a little bit about, your process for owning it and just deciding I'm going to be out there. I'm going to, live in the fact that I'm beautiful without my hair, without, with who I am right now.
Absolutely. One thing I'll say before I go into that is being bald. Oh, I'm hot because there's this light that when you see me doing this, it's because I'm hot. And so I just want to say that you would think no hair. You're like, it's cool now. No.
It's just more skin to catch the heat. Is that it? Okay.
So, I have been deciding or thinking about just going bald because I was under the wigs and the quick weaves that I was wearing for so many years. And when I say so many, it was about 11 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And every time I would go and get my hair done, that was just like my time. That was important to me because I had to keep up on the appearance because I knew what was underneath. And I remember going to my stylist, and I love her. I had two stylists in Georgia. One when I first moved here, and she was really the start of it, right? She saw me through that journey up until I moved to a different side of town. And then I started seeing another one, and she kind of took me from that journey to the end. And I remember going to her, and I said, the back of my hair grows still. So it's just that back. Everything else, I don't have to shave this. It remains bald. And I remember saying, can you just edge me up? Because for the sisters that's out there that know, when you wear a quick weave, you can wear either some of your hair out or you can cover up everything. And so sometimes I will wear my hair out. And I remember saying to her, can you please just edge me up? She thought I said, just edge it, cut it off. And it was how I framed it. I can't remember to this day. And when she cut it off, a part of me felt like I just went with it. Like I don't know if I broke down in that moment, but I know when I got in the car, I cried. And I remember saying, I didn't say cut it. And she felt so bad. Like she was like, I'm so sorry, Tish. I didn't mean to. I thought you said. And I was just like, it's okay. It's okay. But deep down, I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Even though it was covered. And after that point, I was just like, what am I doing? I've got to figure out how to be okay with this is just me. And when my husband would leave the house, sometimes I would still be home with my little girls before I dropped them off at school. And my 5-year-old would say, she was the only one that saw me without hair. And she would say, Mommy, you're so beautiful. And at that point I had no hair because when my husband would leave, I would be like, oh, Jesus, I can take this wig off. It's time, right? And she would say, Mommy, you're so beautiful. And I would and say, thank you, baby. And I think between my hair being cut off accidentally and then her, it was time. And at that evening, I went and I told my husband, I said, I think I'm ready. I think I want to get it cut off. And it was so spur of the moment. I called the lady who had been doing some of my branding pictures, and I said, I want to do a photo shoot. And
Oh, wow.
Small photo shoot. So when I tell you it wasn't just deciding to come without the hair, it was all the way out. I need to capture this moment. And cried and cried and cried that night with my husband. And I said, I can't do it. He said, yes, you can. And my hair, if you go back to those pictures, if you look on any of my social media accounts or YouTube, I still have hair, like, because I didn't shave it fully. My husband would say, I can shave it off for you. And I was like, no, I'm okay. Like, I got this. I was still embarrassed. Girl, when I got in there and I decided before I did the pictures, I did a post, a recording. And I decided to do that because that was just kind of my coming out, so to speak. And the other encouragement was, at the time, my sister-in-law was battling cancer. And I remember telling her, it is okay to be you and rock your bald, because she was losing her hair with chemo. And again, between all of those things, I was just like, I can't keep encouraging them, but yet I'm not doing it and being authentic.
Yeah.
And cut it off. I did the photo shoot. And from that point on, it was good. Like, I never, even to this day, I still have my wigs. I can still rock my wigs and use them as accessories. But I think I would be uncomfortable. And that's not to say I would do it at any point in time, but I love this. When I tell you free and authentic, this is me.
I love it, because even I think you said it earlier, or I don't, if I just heard it at some point earlier, living living a dual life is a part of what can cause depression. If you're especially if there's two people both living one way, thinking one thing, and then presenting, or being one thing but presenting another thing.
Yeah.
And then you have another person, being one way but presenting another thing. Yeah. You are in a constant battle. I remember years ago, this was years and years ago, maybe like 10 years ago. I feel like God stopped me and said, you have too many balls in the air. Yeah. And I was like, what? And he was like, you have too many balls in the air, because it's a juggle, right? So you're juggling this person's perception and this person's perception. And you're like, okay, I work for corporate America. I've got to act this way when I'm in corporate America. And some of that is a survival mechanism, because I don't always look like everybody else and they don't always understand me. So sometimes I can't even get rid of that piece. And then you've got what I think this person believes in me. And so I got to uphold that part. And then I got, this piece where, I don't want to disappoint this person, so I got to show that part. And then I got all these balls in the air, right?
It drives you crazy, because even as women, what do we do? So there are times as women, we can break down, we are bawling, but when we know that we have to step out in, whether it's a meeting or the boardroom or wherever, that's in the immediate next room, what do? Pop our collars, and it's like nothing ever happened. And the life that we have been taught to live, and just being okay with, this is just your life, whether it's one or two that you're living, so to speak, right? And so it's tough. It's hard because of what society puts on us.
As there's so much truth in that. I mean, I didn't realize I had anxiety for years until I realized I had anxiety. And I think there's a lot of people out there that don't realize they're living two existences, because they might either be really skilled at holding those two together. So they think right now. Yeah. And there's some people that don't realize that their problem, if they, in their mind, they're like, I can't do this, I can't get past this. Why? And they don't realize their problem is that they're holding these two lives up in the air, trying not to let them fall. And sometimes more than two, sometimes multiple.
We fail to get out of our own way, right? We are, you've got to figure out, how do I be that catalyst for change? versus stepping out and being in my own way because I'm afraid of something. You can do it right every time. And regardless, someone or someone's individuals will always find something to say.
Yep. Yes.
So
look, I can definitely say I've talked to a bunch of people. The different themes for the conference were confidence, strategy, and authenticity. You definitely exemplified both confidence and authenticity, and you had ways to teach people of the strategy of how to get there. But I would say if there was one thing that if there's of any of those that I would put for you, I would say that the main reason why I knew you needed to be at this conference was because of the word authenticity, because you had already been through a transformation of saying, this is me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not hiding it visually. I'm not hiding it in the way I act. I'm not hiding it in the things that I promote, in the trainings that I do. Like, this is me, period.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love that. And so I was gonna keep this really short, and we are almost at like the half an hour mark, so I don't want to like stay too long. I wanted this to be just a little teaser, and we get into it.
Absolutely.
I want you to kind of say what people, if you do provide any coaching or if you do any events or anything that people can sign up for. And then for the people who are watching, I want the people to be able to sign up in the comments and ask for the types of training or things that you would like to see from Letitia. And even through On Fire or through the conference, because I think, like I put out in the first video, that everything's changed. So I want people to get what they need and what they're needing during this time. Yeah. So do you do any current things for the public, or are you available to be asked to speak? What are you putting out there right now?
Absolutely. And so what I'll say is follow me on Letitia B. Russell, which is all of my social media handles, IG as well as Facebook. I am trying my best for Twitter. I promise I'm trying, but at least those two.
Hard.
But I do. So I do mentoring. I do coaching. And what I did not mention was full-time is HR. And so I do coaching. That's just my profession. And so I do a lot within HR as well. And so I am available for speaking engagements because that is what I truly do. Because again, my goal is to empower and to encourage and to help you live your authentic life and really be true to yourself. And so, yes, you can book me for those things. I had mentioned earlier on, I'm also an author. My book is The Naked Truth, From Pain to Triumph. And that really is a memoir of my story. And that is, so that when I tell you that's kind of the full package of all of the things that I do, if you have challenges that you're faced with and you're trying to figure out, how do I talk to my niece or my nephew or my daughter or my student, and they just need some mentoring or some guidance, I am that person for you. And then the last thing that I'm doing, and I haven't launched it yet, but I am working on, when you think about all of the things that we deal with as women, and so we are trying to really help and pick ourselves up and make ourselves look good from the inside out. I am also working on a mobile fashion and putting things together so that you can look good on the outside too. And so you have those individuals that are like, man, I don't know how to put certain outfits together, or I want to put certain colors together, and I have this event that I have to go to. I come to you, I look at what you do have, and if you don't, I go shopping, put it all together, bring you a couple different pieces, and then we work on that, because what you want to look and feel good as you step out as well. And so that's the next thing that I am working on and that I'm very passionate about.
Okay, so mobile styling, basically. Yes. Okay. That might be very helpful for, I have a photographer in mind that might be very helpful for to work together with, because sometimes you show up and you're ready to take a picture, and she's done it with me. She shows up and I'm ready to take a picture, and I'm like, I ain't got nothing to wear.
We got this all black, and we said, where you going with all black? Help me understand, Selena. What?
Listen, you don't know this quarantine, just the idea that I only really have to make myself look halfway decent from here up. It's a good thing, but it's also made me realize I need to up my shirt game because I was in my closet like, okay, that looks good, but does it look good from here up? Like,
I'm not with you. See, but that's true. You know, all the stores are selling the tops now, and the bottoms just will happen. So
we're gonna come out. You know how you just have like I always get to these points where I have a whole bunch of pants and no shirts. Yep. I'm gonna definitely come out of this with a whole bunch of shirts.
So when you do step out for events, they're gonna be like, "What? Where your bottoms? Like them shorts? What you got on at top?
What's going on?"
Yes.
Oh my goodness! So as usual, as the last time we spoke, I have having so much fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and start closing this out because we'll be talking for forever. I know.
Good.
So I want people to comment, and I'm talking to my Instagram. I'm actually going to try to make sure I get this up. I meant to apologize. Forgive me for my horrible nails right now. Y'all know we still on quarantine. But I would love for you all to comment just some things that you are looking for, or what has inspired you even from hearing Letitia speak today. Like I've been saying before, you know, we have not put out an official statement as to what we're doing with the conference. I've had some people say they'd love for us to just go virtually. And I do want to do that, but there are some things that were planned that were going to be amazing that you can't really translate over virtual. So everything's still in consideration, but in the meantime, I'm just going to bring these wonderful women to you that were going to be impacting everyone who showed up. So just if you have a comment of something that you would like to know from Letitia, or from what trainings we might be able to bring in the future, just let me know. And I'll close with this. I think I got probably the most of my likes of all my likes on my pictures over the last couple of weeks from your picture that I posted. So I can just tell you resonate beauty and confidence, and your smile just brings joy to people. And so, you know, it's not surprising to me, but I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for being that for us, and for making the choice to do certain things that now we can look at and be and strive to be better and braver during this time.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your followers, and just the words of encouragement and the likes. I definitely appreciate everything that you all are doing for the community right now.
Thank you. Well, you guys, we will be back tomorrow live at 8 p.m. tomorrow. But thank you, Letitia, and we're gonna sign off. Thank you so much, Letitia. If you don't mind joining me on the Instagram live really quick once we get off of here, and then we'll say a goodbye. So I'm gonna end it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.